So good morning, church.
Good morning.
So today I have going to do a quick recap of my earlier message. And I'm looking at Rajan, she's wondering what is the message. So this is exactly happens in our world of Instagram. So I thought it will be good to just recap the last message so that and add a little bit more content to it. Because many times we come with lot of new things and we all forget everything of the past. So today's my message is a mix of what I have presented in November, and I have added much more to it to make it much more meaningful. So please pay attention to what I'm going to say, because I'm going to do 3 characters in the next 30-40 minutes of the message. Okay, what can we learn from Olympic champions, right? Or world champions or champion, or who is a champion according to you?
They accomplish something great.
Yeah. What else?
Mastered.
They are mastered, so they are the best in whatever they do. So let's pick it up from that perspective, that what we can learn from a lesson from the world's best, so that we can also become the world's best in whatever we do. Clear? So now, to become a champion, can you become a champion or to become the world's best in whatever we do? Can we do it in one day? No? 1 week?
No.
How much time you require?
Years of practice.
Years is enough? 2 years? How much?
Every day.
Every day? Okay. And? Everybody is aspiring to become the best, no? No? I want to be average, I'm happy being average. Go ahead. How many years does it take to become a world champion or the best of what you want to do?
Depends.
Depends, but
5 years, 6 years, 10 years.
5 years, 6 years, 10 years. What else, Danny? What do you say? Dubai lo 2 years or? Okay, so let's assume 10 to 15 years, because if somebody wants to become, let's go to simple sports, it's easy to relate. If you want to become a world's best champion, to win a gold medal or a silver, even silver is not so easy, or a bronze medal, how many years they practice? From childhood. So maybe 10, 15, 20 years to even be competing in that field. Because to represent the country itself is not easy. Okay, so next slide. So what happens is, first and foremost is long preparation. Long means really long, like 10 to 20 years of preparation is required to become a world champion. And during this preparation, what is the most required feature? It's listed there, you can share the answer. Discipline. You all agree?
Yes.
We all wish to have. What is the difference between somebody who has it and somebody who wishes to have? Question understood? The discipline of doing it, or whatever we choose to achieve, right? Preparation is there, but I will not get up. I will keep all my clothes ready for tomorrow morning. I will get up, I will have to go to gym, so I'll keep my shoes ready, clothes ready, but I will not get up. Or even if I'll get up tomorrow. So there has to be a discipline. Now, what is unseen training?
Mental preparation.
Okay. What is unseen training? Struggle to setback is their next point. We'll get there. So what is unseen training?
Nobody sees you how you are putting your effort.
Correct. Nobody is seeing you, but you have to keep on training. Yes or no?
Yes.
That is unseen training. Yes? And obviously Danny picked up the next point. When you are getting trained, you expect certain setbacks. You will have some injuries. Every day is not your day. You will get some challenges, backaches, shoulder pain, whatever, sometimes surgeries. And finally, after all this pain, then the real gain will come in terms of victory. Now imagine you want to win an Olympic gold medal in whatever sport you choose. For 15 years, you will have it as your aim. And you don't know after 15 years you will achieve it or not. How many people have won Olympic gold medal in individual category in the last 10 years in India? 20 years? Gold medal.
2.
कौन है? Gold medal.
1.
Okay, you're changing your data by me questioning you. Who is that one?
Neeraj.
How many years he has practiced? Binav Bindra, right? So how many years have we been from independence? Now like some 70 plus, right? And how many gold medalists? You just said it, so 2, right? Individual level. I'm not talking group, the hockey we had won in the previous times. So you can imagine 1 billion people competing and 2 people getting gold medal. So that is the struggle you will go through to become a champion. So to become a champion or to be the world's best, don't expect like it's the ID5. What is ID5? Instant idli, instant dosa. It won't happen. You have to go through all of these factors. So today what we are going to look at is, we are going to look at one character which I have broadly or briefly shared in my November message. I consider him as an Olympic champion of the Bible. He has gone through all of this and we'll talk about him. And while we are talking about him, then we'll also look at how, if you were to become the world's best, what you have to go through. And then we'll also look at Psalm 23 chapter. Okay, so we're going to look at 3 characters or 3 themes and merge together to understand how to become a champion. And becoming champion is enough? Then what else is required? You have to continue to be a champion. Correct? Then it's called being a champion. Yes or no? So just achieving is not enough. You also have to continue to dominate that field or continue to be the world's best, continue to the best. Whatever you choose, what you choose is your choice. Because God has given you freedom of choice. Right? So now let's go to the next slide. So if you look at Joseph as a character, in Bible it is very clearly mentioned that he has been given gift. Right? So to become a champion, you need to first understand what gifts God has given you. Okay? So now let's look at Genesis chapter 37 verse 5 to 10. And someone read this please.
Then Joseph had a dream, and when he told to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, please listen to this dream which I have had. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheep rose up and also stood erect. And behold, your sheep gathered around and bowed down to my sheep. Then his brothers said to him, are you actually going to reign over us, or are you really going to rule over us? So they hated him even more for his dream and for his word. Now he had still another dream, and he related it to his brothers and said, lo, I have had still another dream, and behold, the sun and moon and 11 stars are bowing down to me. He related it to his father and to his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, what is this dream that you have had? Shall I and your mother and your brothers actually come to bow ourselves down before you to the ground?
Okay, so if you look at this, in this verses, Joseph got a vision through dream, right? That, and his vision was futuristic, very big one, and very scary for his brothers. Now, if you were to look at yourself, you have a big aim, but you go telling everybody that I will become everyone. Now what will people look at you and tell? Chapan, you know what you will tell? Huh?
Self-boasting.
Boasting,
Crazy.
what nonsense, इसके पास क्या है, ये नहीं बनेगा, ये ऐसी टाइम पास कर रहा है. So on and so forth, colloquially we will talk so many things about that person. So even though you have a vision, you should be very clear that are you at the right timing to share the vision. Right? You may have the early signs from the Lord, but it doesn't mean that you go and do tom-tom. Because you will also have to wait for the timing. Right? Why? Because you have to get yourself trained, developed yourself into that place. Then people will recognize you and applaud you. Right? All agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So similarly to that, if you look at from a sports standpoint, from an Olympics, young athletes, you will know if somebody is running fast at childhood, you can, this person has talent. Right? You can also see in class somebody is very sharp, someone who of us are teachers here. So they can tell in the class, this person is very smart. As soon as I say, they pick it up like this. Right? But some are not so smart and so on and so forth. So they have some talents. But if you just have a talent, but if you do not then invest in that talent, then the talent is wasted. So that's called potential. And if you don't invest in your potential, then your potential is wasted. Now that potential can be anything. Especially in today's world, you can take any talent and you can commercialize the talent through YouTube, through various social media, and you can become successful if you are looking from commercial standpoint. Or from any other standpoint, there are n number of ways you can become successful. Now, what is the lesson from this? Chapter 37 verse 5 to 10. What is it that we can pick up? Is even though you may have a vision, if it is early, don't canvass it. Wait for the right time. Prepare, get ready, and don't fast track everything that many I've already reached. Clear? I am not saying Bible is saying. Remember that. Okay? Next slide. Now, let's study Joseph's life quickly, key date, so that then when I'm going to talk next time, I'm not going to use these references again and again. Now, let's look at when did Joseph receive the dream? Genesis chapter 37 verse 2. Can someone read the verse, please?
This is the account of Jacob's family line. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and he brought the father a bad report about them.
Okay. Genesis chapter 37 verse 2 says, he was of what age? 17 years. And then if you look at Genesis chapter 37 verse 27 to 28.
Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him, for he is our brother, our own flesh, and his brothers listen to him. Then some Midianite traders passed by, so they pulled up and lifted Joseph out of the pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 shekels of silver. Thus they brought Joseph into Egypt.
Okay, so in this verses you will clearly know that his brothers sold him to slavery, right? And that's somewhere in 17 years of Joseph's age. Then he was in Potiphar's house as a slave serving Potiphar, and then in jail, he was jailed, and then in jail he even prophesied basis the dreams, and still he was forgotten. Now Genesis chapter 40 to 41 is too long, 2 chapters to read, but that's the summary where he has helped them and he asks them to go and tell to the king, Pharaoh, that to give him grace so that he can come out of jail. But that also takes 2 more years, that after God blesses him, after that also he is rotting in the jail for 2 years, right? And let's look at Genesis chapter 41, 46.
Now Joseph was 36 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the land of Egypt.
Yeah. So at what age? 30 years. Right? So he was sold into slavery at the age of 17 and he became the what? The prime minister of Egypt at the age of 30. So how many years he had training? I call it like training, but if you ask him at that time, क्या बोलते हो तुम training? It is such a hard life I have gone through, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So for 13 years he was under preparation by the Lord. First point in my how to become the world champion, long preparation. How many years? 13 years Joseph went through. And some of the in that 13 years he got blessings, but still nobody is recognizing. Still he is sitting at the same place in the jail. Okay, and then he died at the age of 110 years. It's listed in Genesis 50:26. We don't need to read that. So how many years he was ruling the Egypt? 110 minus 30. Arithmetics. 80. 80 years he was the undisputed Prime Minister of Egypt. To become undisputed Prime Minister of Egypt, he spent under training for how many years? 13. 13 and 80. Divide 80 by 13. How many is it coming to? The maths, yeah. Almost 7.
6.5.
So roughly 7 times. 13 years ka training and 13 into 7 is 91. So almost for 80 years or 6.5 years, 6.5 times he was trained. Imagine the long period. He was the undisputed Prime Minister. Right? So now we'll talk about him and Sam's, and for us how to become a world champion in whatever you want to choose. Clear? Next slide. Now let's look at Genesis 39, 2-4.
The Lord was with Joseph, so he became a successful man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. Now his master saw that the Lord was with him, and how the Lord caused all that he did to prosper in his hand. So Joseph found favor in his sight and became his personal servant, and he made him overseas over his house, and all that he owned he put him in his charge.
Lord was with him, right? And whatever he did was prosperous. If we were like that, what we will do? Are what Potiphar? I am the king. Whatever God is telling me, it's happening. Why I have to be under you? Will we not get that idea, Raji? Yes, no. Let's be realistic. Do we get or not? But still he was obedient as what? As a slave in Potiphar's house. Got it? God was with him, and whatever he did was successful, and his slave master is looking at this fellow and say, Arey Baba, whatever this fellow I tell, this fellow's hand is magic. Imagine a slave master looking at a slave and giving him the upliftment. Generally, slave masters won't give to slaves. You are supposed to do like whatever I am asking you to do. And it is ulta. Slave master is going and say, tell me what you should do. Acha, you do. I am happy. Yes or no? It is like your supervisor telling what you want to do. Josh, tell me. Please do. I am very happy. Josh will say, ये तो कभी नहीं होता है. Does it happen or not? It doesn't happen in our normal work environment, right? And this is slave environment. Remember, it is very, very harsh treatments, right? Now let's look at 39, 19-23.
Now when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke to him, saying, This is what your slave did to me, his anger burned. So Joseph's master took him and put him into the jail, the place where the king's prisoners was confined, and he was there in the jail. But the Lord was with Joseph and extended kindness to him and gave him favor in the sight of the chief jailer. The chief jailer committed to Joseph's charge all the prisoners who were in the jail, so that whatever was done there, he was responsible for it. The chief jailer did not supervise anything under Joseph's charge, but because the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made to prosper.
Right? So there's a Potiphar's wife who falsely accuses him, and he is put into jail. Now imagine what will be our mindset, how we will operate. What will come out of our mouth? Blessings or ये cheating किया, ये नहीं होता है, भगवान में, where is Lord? I don't know what Lord is doing. I am not getting support from the Lord. We all talk like that. Let's be realistic, right? Small headache. What Lord, you are not on my side. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So look at him. What mindset and attitude he had when he was going through the toughness. Same person, different environment, same output. And then the last verse, can you please repeat again? 23rd verse.
The chief jailer did not supervise anything under Joseph's charge, because the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made to prosper.
The chief jailer now. Pehla Potiphar. Now this chief jailer also. Boss, whatever you do. I am totally okay. It is like I am giving you keys. I am like going for a walk. I am totally supportive of whatever you want to do. Imagine a jailer giving keys and making the prison run by a convict. If you are a police personnel, head of prisons, then you will understand the context of this message. Right? Same person, same blessing, different environment, same output, but still he is suffering. Remember that suffering is still going on. He is not having a rosy bed, not sitting in some palace where hundreds of workers are there. He is still a worker. Right? Now let's look at Psalm 23:2-3.
He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake.
Right? If you look at these verses, green meadows means what? That even though you're going through tough times, God will guide you, God will protect you, God will take you through the right places and give you peace of mind. Right? Now you look at it from your own training standpoint. As an Olympic champion, let's say, or a world champion, you are going through long preparation. Right? And you will go through challenges. We all go through or not? Yeah? So what we should do? Should we behave like Joseph or should we behave like ourselves? Right? We should behave like Joseph. Right? Now remember, Joseph was also still a slave. He's like, "Arey boss, where is my promotion? I am doing all right things. Promote me. I should be your boss now." I am still under you only. All these problems we all have, yes or no? Right? And remember, God is watching you. Forget whether your supervisor is watching you or somebody else is watching you or not. God is watching you in your training hours. And God is monitoring your attitude. Right? If you are able to behave the way God wants you to behave, which is what Joseph did. Right? Long preparation for how many years? As soon as God was with Joseph, Joseph became confident, all responses correct from Joseph. Did Joseph become arrogant? Still he continued for 13 years roughly to be obedient to Lord, undergoing suffering, and that is the training. So we may see some early success, but we should not get carried away by those successes. Okay? Next slide please. Now let's look at chapter 39 verse 9.
There is no one greater in this house than I, and he was withheld nothing from me except you. Because you are his wife, how then could I do this great evil and sin against God?
Yeah, so here the question comes is, he had an opportunity to relax his ethics, but he kept his ethics, his attitude right, that is the discipline, that even though there is a tempting offer, I will not go to that path and I will do what is right. Right? And look at Psalms 23:3.
He restores my soul. He guides me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake.
Yeah, so now let's look at it from our parallel of our becoming world champion. We will have some opportunities which are not the right ones to do, but it's very tempting. Right? So do we bite that or not? Many times we think nobody is watching. Oh, everybody is watching. Instagram, so nobody is watching me. Right? Or everybody is busy in their own world. Koi nahi dekh raha to I will just do this. But remember, who is watching? The Lord is watching. Unfortunately, the Lord can come through these buildings and all. I don't need to tell you all that. So don't think that you are smart. I've switched off my light. Nobody is watching. Sorry. Right? So look at that opportunity for you to do the right thing. That could be whatever you want to become. If you're studying for something, if you're preparing for something, that means strict routine following. No, I'll just watch TV for half an hour. Half an hour becomes 2 hours. The 2 hours lost is your loss. Right? Or your one mistake can compromise many of your aspirations. So I do not know what you want to become. Lord knows, and you know, you and Lord knows what you want to become. So if you want to become whatever you want to become, then do not compromise on things that you should not compromise on. Everybody goes through the discipline regime. The discipline is just not about doing things, but doing the right things. Very, very important. Right, Benaya? Right? And so what is the lesson for us? If we discipline ourselves correctly, then it will protect the God's given destiny for us. If we cross wrong paths, then the destiny is gone. So for example, if you are in sports, what happens to some people? They take drugs. It is not the normal drugs what you are thinking. It is performance enhancement drugs. So that I can run faster, I can stand more longer, and so on and so forth. But then during the tests they get caught, and then they are disqualified. And this happens after how many years of training? Maybe 10 years, 15 years. Why that? The pressure of not becoming successful, they take shortcuts. That's what is the discipline here. Understood? Clear? Sometimes many of us, because I am not becoming successful, I will share this here, many people will put fake experience, and for lifelong they are worried somebody will catch them, as an example in the jobs, or trying to do something illegal. Maybe you are not getting the immediate instant success, but the success will come if you are on the right path with the right discipline. But if you take shortcuts, maybe you will get it quickly, but then it has a risk that it can spoil your entire life. Now look at what Psalms 23:3 is saying again.
He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake.
He restores my soul and he guards my path of righteousness. But if you choose to still take the path of unrighteousness, what does God say? Don't go or go? God says don't go, but then what you do or what we do? I am no longer any pure man, everybody is same, right? What we do? Koi nahi dekh raha hai, one time, only one time, right? So we cross the wrong path, or we enter into the wrong path. Okay, so that's why the title of the slide is discipline is the difference between talent and triumph. Talent means everybody has potential, but the one who will be victorious is somebody who follows the discipline. Discipline is not just doing things, doing right things. Right? Next slide please. And everyone goes through valleys of darkness or valleys of challenges. Now let's look at Genesis 41:1.
Now it happened at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh had a dream, and behold, he was standing by the Nile.
Yeah? Here remember the word 2 years. Full 2 years after he has blessed the cupbearers, they forgot, and then for 2 years he was still in the jail. Okay? Imagine how we will be going through. I am doing everything correct, but still success is not coming. Do you all think like this? I think many times like this. Let me be honest. Yes or no? I am doing all correct. I can see that I am correct. But still success is not coming according to me, whatever that success definition is. Right? That is the value of darkness. Right? Let's read Psalm 23 verse 4.
Even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
Yeah? So what does 23 verse 4 say? That the Lord is with you, but still we question ourselves. Right? Why God no answer? Why I'm doing all things right? Still Joseph took 2 years to get a response. Now in our Insta world, 1 hour may we get disappointed. Why I say Insta? Okay, you want blink it, I will tell you 10 minutes. But we are in this instant noodles, instant everything, right? Now, if you were getting yourself trained as an Olympic champion, you will go through these kind of struggles. You will see big international players falling ill in terms of injuries, and they are away from their matches. Imagine what pressure they will have in their mind. Will I come back? Will I be able to play? Will my form be there? Will I still be the number one? Now outside you will say, usko kya hai? He has lot of money, man. He has made it in life. He or she will think. But imagine what they are going through. Right? So everybody is going through their own challenges of valley of darkness. The more senior you become or the more popular you become, the more worried they are. Believe me. Most insecure people are on the top. Seriously, if you talk to them, you will understand. Right? And what is the lesson we can learn from this Psalms 23 verse 4? Can you repeat it again?
Even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
Yeah? So that is the lesson we need to remember. There will be challenges we will go through in our life. But the Lord is with us, and we need to have the patience that God will show you. There's an English phrase called end of the light at the end of the tunnel. Right? If you enter the tunnel, it will be pitch dark. But that doesn't mean that the tunnel doesn't have an end and the end will have light. So when we are going through some challenges, imagine that you are going through a tunnel. So there will be an end of the tunnel. You have to have the patience, just like Joseph did for 2 years, as an example. Right? Of course, he had other time frame he has spent. 13 years. That's the easiest way to look at. Right? Next slide, please. And you should look at this like a long preparation. Now, Genesis 39 verse 21.
But the Lord was with Joseph and extended kindness to him and gave him favor in the sight of the chief jailer.
Yeah. So imagine, who was with Joseph? Manglesh? Lord. Lord was with Joseph. And where was Lord with Joseph? He was in the prison. He was in the pit. To start with, he was with Joseph in the pit, then in the prison, then in the palace. 3 different scenarios. But Lord was with Joseph. And why did Lord bless Joseph? I will tell you something called MBA. You know what is MBA? That is worldly one, MBA. Master of Business Administration. The other social psychology as mindset, behavior and action. Okay? So imagine what was the mindset of Joseph when he was in the pit, when Lord was with Joseph. And what would be our mindset? Was you are telling me when you will take me out, when I will have my biryani. And so on and so forth will be our mindset. Then what our behavior will be? Cribbing, crying. Not physical crying, but mental crying every second, every hour. Right? And then what actions we will do? Will we smile? Will we talk positive? Yes or no? Right? And imagine what Joseph did. What was the mindset of Joseph? Positive. With the slave master Potiphar. Then he was with the jailer. He's like the best student you can be. अरे क्या यार ये बंदा, too good this guy is. Yes or no?
Yes.
And whatever comes out of his mouth is blessed by the Lord. Or whatever is coming from his mouth is coming from through the Lord. And he is being blessed. So that is your MBA. Mindset, behavior and action. Now imagine what is our mindset, behavior and action when we go through the valleys, and even when we have the presence of the Lord as promised by the Lord to us. But what is our mindset, behavior and action we go through or we practice? Right? Now imagine if you are a world champion, when the race starts, whatever game you are playing, will you be tense? Right?
Yes.
Everybody will be tense. Nobody will say they are not tense. Right? But the person who is winning can control, can manage their tensions. And when you can manage your tensions, your mind is thinking clearly. If you cannot manage your tensions, then your mind is going, it's going like this. Or if it's like this. If it is like this, then you can see the vision clearly. If it's going like this, then what you will speak? Imagine. Right? So, anyone who is having the Lord's presence, but if they are not following the MBA of the Lord, God's MBA, I will call it like that, mindset, behavior and actions, then your response versus a world champion response like Joseph is very different. So what you should practice to be your kind of MBA or Joseph's MBA or the Lord's MBA? Kya Raji? Lord's MBA, right? So that is where we need to aim for and practice, right? And then your calm presence will always win under pressure. Now, did Joseph had the opportunity to crib to the jailer? अरे बॉस आप भी बोले, पोतीफर भी ऐसी बोला था. So he said that I will become like this, you are giving me, but why I am still slave? You make me independent, I am ready to become free. Did he complain like that? No. Right? That is the actions you are seeing. Right? So remember this MBA. So whom you should trust? Whom was Joseph trusting? The Potiphar and the jailer and the Pharaoh later on? No, he was trusting on the Lord. Same way we need to trust on the Lord. Lord has a plan for us. Right? Let's read Proverbs chapter 16 verse 3.
Commit your works to the Lord, and your plans will be established.
Commit your
Works
to the Lord, and your plan will be established by the Lord. If you complete that statement to make a full statement, right? So, whatever we are aiming for, we have to commit our works to the Lord and follow the discipline, and then the Lord's presence will be there with us, and that is the differentiator between who you will be versus who others are. Okay, next slide please. And okay, let's go back to Genesis 41, 38 to 41 please.
Then Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find a man like this in whom is a divine spirit?" So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has informed you of all this, there is no one so discerning and wise as you are. You shall be over my house, and according to your command, all my people shall do homage. Only in the throne I will be greater than you."
Okay, so what happened here, just to give you the context, so his dreams of Pharaoh's problem dreams or worrying dreams were solved by Joseph. And then what Pharaoh said? I can't find a smarter man and a wiser man than you. He asked his council of leaders, right? And then he appointed him, saying that everyone is below you, only me for the namesake. Throne means namesake. If you're taking too many things, just let me know. That's all. FII दे दो मेरे को और बाकी सब करो. FII means for your information. If you are working in corporations, they will use these words. FII. Right? Now, imagine at your workplace. If you are great people around you will tell, इससे तो कोई और मिलेगा नहीं मेरे को. Agree? And that faithfulness to the Lord will qualify you for growth, promotion or anything else. Promotion means elevation. I'm not talking about the worldly titles. Okay? Now look at it from an Olympic champion or a world champion standpoint. You have to go through selection rounds. Nobody brings you to the finals. Right? Even a world champion has to play first round again. Or maybe 2 rounds they will get by, but they have to play quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals. So even you are a world champion, you have to be in the field every time you want to win. Remember that. Right? So consistency is important. We are not trying to be a fly-by-night operator. You know what is fly-by-night operator? Like cheating. One time you do and you will say yes, I will make it happen, and next day onwards you run away. That is called fly-by-night operator. एक बार सब promise दिखा दो and then one time you will become famous, but you cannot sustain your success. Right? So here we are looking at not luck. Right? Read 23:5. Sams.
You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows.
Yeah? You have prepared a table for me
In the presence of
in my presence of the enemies. Prepare a table means what? What does the meaning of preparing a table means? What is a table for? Put laptop on work. Danny is looking at me. Laptop. What does preparing a table? What will you serve on the table? Food. And in presence of your enemies. Food means what? Prosperity. Right? And anoint you with oil over your head means what? As per Old Testament, blessing. Right? In front of whom? It is very clearly mentioned in front of enemies. That word could have not been there. But what it means that there will be enemies in your life. That is another way of looking at it. There will be opponents in your life. But in front, God doesn't say you will not have enemies. I will remove all your enemies. I will not have you any hurdles. Did anywhere God say like that? I will make your life super smooth. No. But I will make you successful if you follow what? Lord's MBA. Right? And remember, promotion or elevation to the next level is not luck. It is long preparation with discipline. What else? First slide. Insta memory. Setbacks. Unseen training is important. If you don't train, then a setback will come. Is pack up only. Yes or no? अरे start किया back एक छोड़ो. I don't think this is right for me. Right? Long preparation, discipline, unseen training. Even if you are doing all this, setbacks will come. You will have to overcome your setbacks. Then the victory will come. Next slide, please. And remember, champions are trained not for one moment like fly-by-night operator. They are prepared for longevity. Now Joseph was trained for how many years? 13 years. To rule how many years? 80 years. Right? We should also think, plan, act like that. That God is training us to become an everlasting, that 80 years, because he lived till 110. So that means that everlasting reputation. Right? Like ISI standard. What is ISI? You have this ISI standard, no? In India. What is ISI? Not IS, not the Pakistan standard. Josh is looking at me like that. Indian Standards Institute. Right? If you do for weights, the weight has the ISI standard. Right? Anyways, so we should be like that, the standard of quality. Right? And let's look at 41, 54 to 57.
And 7 years of famine began to come, just as Joseph has said. And then there was famine in all the lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. So when all the land of Egypt was finished, so when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried out to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said to all Egyptians, "Go to Joseph, whatever he says to you, you shall do." When the famine was spread over all the face of the earth, then Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold to the Egyptians, and the famine was severe in the land of Egypt. The people of all earth came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph because the famine was severe in all the earth.
Yeah, so you look at these verses, you will hear some of the words like planned for famine. Right? He knew that 7 plus 7 is coming. 7 years of success and 7 years of drought. In that next 7 years, he put warehouses and he stocked that inventory. Right? We should also plan like that. In our life, when we have some little bit of success, we should plan inventory. You know what is inventory? Stocks. Not the equity stocks, but to keep your stocks, be it financial planning, be it whatever, so that when you go through some tough times, you have reserves for you. And read it very carefully. He sold grains. He didn't give it for free. Right? And you would have heard this very clearly saying, Pharaoh said, "Please go to Joseph, ask him whatever he says, you just do it." Imagine the trust that fellow has on this fellow. Can Lord trust us like that? God, 1 minute, huh? Next time. So are we like that? Can Lord trust us that He gives you the wisdom and then you execute that wisdom? And He is not giving it for free. You remember that. Even in famine, He made people buy the grain. And that made Egypt much more prosperous. During famine also, he is making money for the king. So king, what is boss? What? I don't know what does it do. Whatever you want, boss. If I was, what you want to do, just do whatever this fellow is telling you. Don't come to me. That's what is written in the Bible also. Remember, that much trust Pharaoh had on, who is this fellow? No, Joseph is from which background? Hebrew. They hate Hebrews. In famine, he is still trusting someone who is letting go of his grain. He is not worried that this will hit him. That is the confidence that people will have on you if you are following the Lord's path. Right? And remember this, God trains us to be lasting for long, not for one time event. Remember that. Right? Now to summarize, next slide. Okay, there's one more slide. Okay, so let's look at 23 verse 6.
Surely goodness and loving kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Yeah, so can you resonate this with Joseph? 80 years. The loving kindness of the Lord was with Joseph. And when he had a chance, and let's read Genesis 50:20.
As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring about this present result, to preserve many people alive.
Okay, so as for you, here he is referring to whom? His brothers, right? Who put him into slavery. A wonderful opportunity to take revenge. And then sadistically enjoy the torture. Many of us will do that, honestly. Right? You are Prime Minister of Egypt. Manglesh mil gaya. On a lighter note, Manglesh, no revenge against you, but you will savor the pleasure of, sadistic pleasure of torturing that fellow who took revenge, or basically you will take the revenge. But what did Joseph do? He said, no bitterness, no revenge, Lord used me, used you to magnify me. So please look at it like this. Every challenge is an opportunity for you to glorify Lord and for you to get trained to become better and better. Yes, instantly you will find so much challenge, but you look at that challenge as an opportunity for you to grow bigger. Now you don't know where you are going. Sometimes you may think this is my aim, and God may say, "ये तो बहुत छोटा है तेरे लिए. I'm going to take you to the next level. Just follow what I'm asking you to do." Right? Now, have you ever seen in international matches, fast-paced games like badminton and all of that? The players are so moving in the court, they are not able to think. So they are always looking towards their coaches, and coaches is giving some guidance. Have you observed? They will tell you, and they'll just come and give 1 minute tip and go back. That is exactly what Lord will tell us. But we have to be on the path what Lord has chosen us to be and follow Lord's MBA. Mindset, behavior, action as per what God wants you to behave. Okay? And then the greatest victory for all of us is finishing faithful. Now God has a plan for you and for all of us. So we need to plan the plan and execute the plan, and then go to the Lord at the end of our life and say, well, God should say, faithfully executed plan. When it should be like, it should be not like our kids, what rank you got, Ray, what score you got, I wanted you to get this, you got this. You don't want to have that kind of a conversation with the Lord, right? Or you want to have that kind of conversation. That's for you to choose. Again, freedom of choice, right? To summarize, Joseph teaches us two important elements. One, God is just not preparing you for applause. God is preparing you for a larger responsibility. Now imagine, lot of things are not written, but for 80 years, Joseph did many decisions. Right? Not every decision he made was written in the Bible, but he made all successful decisions. That's why he survived for 80 years under Pharaoh. And maybe different pharaohs also. Uska beta, uska grandson, and so on and so forth. Right? And for us, Psalm 23 is the training manual. Whenever you are getting worried, just read 23. Keep reading 23 2-3 times. Okay? And who is under training? We, you and me. Remember that, and remember you have a case study to refer to, Joseph. Whenever in doubt, refer to Joseph. If Joseph can do it, you can also do it. Now who is stopping you? MBA. So do a Lord's MBA and achieve what God has planned for you. Now God will reveal that to you as you follow His path. Right? May Lord bless this message. Thank you all.